Hi Cancer, welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. I'm going to be honest, August is not easy. And August is not easy for any of the zodiac signs, not just you. This is because we have a square between Jupiter and Saturn. And even though the square will be happening a little bit later in the month, on August 19th to be exact, we are still going to feel that energy build up more and more as the month comes along. So let's start off by talking about this square. For you, specifically Cancer, Saturn is in your 9th house while Jupiter is in your 12th house. The square between Jupiter and Saturn means that there is some sort of a tension, some sort of an arm wrestle battle between optimism and hope, and between feeling blocked, needing patience, and maybe even feeling a bit pessimistic. And for you, because it's happening in your 9th and 12th house, you might especially feel this tension between spending time alone versus expanding your mind, going for long travels, exposing yourself to lots of different ideas and philosophies and lifestyles. Especially because you have Jupiter in your 12th house, you might find that you are being faced with a lot of situations where you are spending time alone. Because of one way or another, maybe you're not even planning it, but it just happens that you're spending a lot more alone time. You are perhaps spending more time alone with your thoughts, alone with your own life and the way it is currently. And there might, the contrast between your alone time and the time you spend exploring, learning, traveling, studying feels like it's night and day. It might really feel like you want to explore and have fun, but Saturn there in your 9th house is making it difficult for you to do so. And yeah, it might be that the joy you used to get from exploring and traveling is no longer there. It's a little bit difficult to access that joy, that pleasure, that hope, all of those good feelings because of Saturn in your 9th house. So there is definitely this tension. I would say try to enjoy your alone time as much as you can, especially because Saturn is making it a bit difficult for you to travel and to explore. See if you can explore within. See if you can explore between your head. See if you can explore within your heart. So even though this square is happening on the 19th, let's talk about that whole week before, because that whole week before is still quite central and has this theme of the square between Jupiter and Saturn. It's quite prevalent the whole week before. So on August 14th, Mars will square Jupiter in your 12th house, and the day later, it will square Saturn. The way I see this happening for you, Cancer, is that you're taking some courageous action. You're facing something that you fear. This is motivated by your optimism. This is motivated by your hope that things will be okay. But because the next day Mars squares Saturn, even though you took that action, the desired or the outcome is not as you desired. The outcome just doesn't come through, or your courageous action doesn't deliver the result that you wanted it to. And obviously this can put a damper on your self-confidence and your self-esteem. And we actually see that later in the month when Venus ends up getting a difficult aspect as well. It ends up opposing Saturn and squaring Jupiter. Venus is opposing Saturn from your third house. So you might find that this heaviness, this block that you experienced, is somehow also preventing you from showing up with your confidence, with your loving nature in your local community as well. You cannot travel. Saturn is making it difficult for you to go far and wide, to explore. But as a result, that doesn't make you more excited or more present within your local community. It still makes it difficult for you to enjoy what's surrounding you in your local environment. And then obviously a day after, on the 19th, finally that square happens between Jupiter and Saturn. So honestly, it sort of makes sense. There's something that you do that puts yourself out there. You face a fear, but it doesn't go as expected. The outcome is not as desired. You maybe decide to book a trip that you've been really scared to book, but somehow your reservation falls through. So we see that Saturn restriction in the ninth house. However, later you think like, okay, but then maybe I should just do something locally. Maybe I should just go book a hotel down the street and have fun there. But still, there is something holding you back. You're not as excited about that option. And as a result, you decide instead to just spend time alone, to feel more of what it is to explore your internal world. So this could be one way that this could manifest. Keep in mind that the 12th house and the 9th house can also represent other things besides travel. The 9th house can also represent our values and our beliefs. The 9th house can also represent higher education. Maybe you try to register for some schooling and that falls through. Before we close off this Jupiter and Saturn square, we close off talking about it, I have one more thing to mention about the square. The square is actually happening during a full moon. I know, you thought it couldn't get any worse, but it is happening during a full moon. This means that not only do we have the tension from the square, we also have the tension from the sun and the moon opposing each other. So the moon is in the sign of Aquarius during this full moon, which for all of us is going to bring up feelings of not belonging and feelings of being outcasts from our community. And again, this is for everybody, not just for you, Cancer. So what I'm recommending to all of the zodiac signs is not to forget to reach out to others, not to forget to share their struggles with those around them, because you'll find that most likely the person next to you is also dealing with this Jupiter-Saturn square. And for you specifically, Cancer, because the moon will be in your 8th house, you might feel like an outcast because of your strong feelings. You might feel like nobody can really understand the depth and the intensity of your feelings. And you might feel like that is making you quite different and quite misunderstood from everybody else around you. Okay, let's move on from this square. Let's talk about something else. And actually, let's talk further about Venus. So we mentioned Venus a little bit earlier. We talked about the fact that it would also end up opposing Saturn, and that might have an impact on your loving nature, your self-confidence. But actually, Venus is going to have two other challenging aspects during the month of August. So earlier in the month, Venus is going to square Uranus, the planet of sudden change. Uranus will be in your 11th house. So you might find that there is some sudden change in your community. Maybe the football club that you play for ends up not existing anymore. Maybe they have to pull the club apart and they need to sell it. Maybe there is a social cause or a volunteering position that you used to love to go to, and all of a sudden that's not there anymore for you. You might find that there is some sudden news coming from your community, and that might further have an impact on your feeling of confidence in yourself. And then the second, or I should say the third difficult aspect that Venus has is at the end of August when it opposes Neptune. You are ending the month off by letting go of some dreams that you realize were not realistic, or you realize that you don't even want them anymore. You thought they were your dreams, but you've realized they're not. And this Neptune is in your 9th house, so these could be dreams surrounding the education that you want to take, the travel that you want to do, but maybe even ideals that you had, like idealistic values that you had, idealistic beliefs that you had. Maybe you were a person that dreamed of the end of all war, the end of poverty, the end of world hunger. And while I do hope that all of us continue to believe in that, again, this is just an example, but there might be some sort of idealistic belief or value that you find is maybe crumbling a little bit, that you find that you're struggling to believe in, that you find feels so unrealistic and unreachable. And as a result, that again will have an effect on your feeling of self-confidence. I know I just shared a lot of difficult things for the month of August. I also do want to share, Cancer, that everything is temporary, and that a lot of the times we are faced with these challenges not just because whatever the universe or the planets are wanting to like laugh at us and see us struggle down here on Earth, but also so that we can learn, so that we can grow, and so that we can continue to become better humans. So I hope that even though this August might feel challenging, that you may find little moments of silence, little moments of peace and calm, where you can also zoom out and reflect on the challenges and perhaps what they're trying to teach you. Before we close off the horoscope, let's talk about one more aspect. Let's talk about the new moon at the beginning of the month. This new moon is going to feel like a breath of fresh air. It's going to be the calm before the storm, the calm new moon before we have the crazy full moon with the square between Jupiter and Saturn. The new moon is happening on August 4th, and it's happening in the sign of Leo. For you, Cancer, this will be in your 2nd house. Keep in mind that during this new moon, we have both Mars and Jupiter in your 12th house. So you might especially find that you are quite active in your alone time. You might be having a lot of activities that are forcing you to spend time alone. You might be picking up hobbies that you can only do alone. And during this new moon, that might especially have an impact on your finances. And especially because the sun and the moon are in your 12th house, you might find that you are maybe getting quite a lot of money, or maybe just feeling a bit more in control of your finances. And as a result, that is also forcing you to want to spend more time on your own, to want to maybe spend some time thinking about your finances or working on your finances, or spending time to think about your finances and about your financial condition. How many times can I say finances? But overall, I think the new moon should feel quite calm and quite peaceful. And I hope that new breath of energy with your finances can hopefully help you as well with all of the chaos that's coming later in the month with the square with Jupiter and Saturn. So overall, Cancer, I know you got this. You can handle whatever August has in store for you. Before I let you go, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you can get a chance to win a free reading from me. When we reach 1,000 subscribers, I am giving one free reading away. Thank you for joining me, Cancer, and don't forget to try and enjoy your alone time this month of August. Bye for now.